Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny De Lillo. I am here with the legendary Adrian Martinez with his, you know you are, with the, there he is, with the fantastic feature film, his wonderful film, iGilbert. But for those that haven't seen it, let's take a look at the clip.
One cup your waters, 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 one cup your waters.
Adrian, I'm delighted to be here with you, and thanks for bringing this fantastic feature to us. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us the brief synopsis of your film.
You know, I was thinking about that. You know, it's kind of like a reimagining of a 1950s movie called Ernest Borgnine. Do you remember Ernest Borgnine?
Yes, I do.
Marty.
I love that film.
Marty,
yes.
Thank you. So it's kind of like a reimagining of Marty in that it's a lonely sad sack kind of living with his mom, afraid to take chances. But it has a 21st century spin in that he finally decides to take a chance away from the digital life he's been entrenched in, taking photos of people and just trying to build a wall of isolation, really, while trying to connect with the real person, who in this case is played by Dasha Polanco. And I think she's fantastic in the movie.
Too good.
And so it really is it's a kind of a love story about connection versus disconnection and the price we pay for that.
I mean, listen, this film, you know, it gets you right in the heart. Like, you know, you really carry this journey, this story with your, you know, amazing performance yourself. But this was just a magical experience to watch, and just your cast all just gave everything. It was just a joy to experience and hard to watch, obviously, at times too. Now, you spent many years in the making of creating this film. You know, there's a lot of labor and a lot of love and a lot of passion over the course of the journey. Going back to that point and where we are today, and where did the inspiration come for you in saying, I have to make this project?
Well, it started 9 years ago, incredibly, when I was sitting on the subway and I saw this guy approach this beautiful woman sitting opposite him, and he just started taking photos of her face, like right next to her, like right there. And she's like, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?" And he was completely impassive, non-commentary, just dead. And then on the next stop, he just got off the train, didn't laugh, didn't anything. And I couldn't stop thinking about this guy. And I'm like, who is this guy? And why does he feel he can objectify somebody like this with such indifference? And it reminded me of my daughter, who is now a teenager, incredibly. And like, who is she gonna pick from this crowd? You know, like, where is this going? And it just kind of like became more, as time went by, more relevant with the pandemic we're in, and how we're even more relying on our devices. And it also reminded me of City Lights by Charlie Chaplin, in that you go back 100 years and he's talking about that classic scene where he's with the blind girl and he's like, "Can you see now? Do you see me now?" And fast forward to today's terms, like, do we really see each other now? Yeah. Or is it all just in our devices? Are we still making that attempt to really connect as people? So these were the motives behind the movie.
I mean, yeah, there's so much, when you saw the connection in your film, don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it was just magical, because like you said, we're in our devices, we're not really paying attention as much as we should be with each other. And, you know, especially even just the pandemic, what we've experienced, you know, we're not even outreaching the same way. We're just kind of relying on these technical things in front of us. And there was so much connection and heart in there. One of the things that listen, let's just bring it out. Let's talk about this ridiculous cast that you put together who are just phenomenal. Like, it was such a joy to watch. Like, every single person just had, firstly, as an actor, I think you really took responsibility of just giving everyone just a brilliant role where they could really dig deep into. But goodness me, like, you just pulled out, like, just including yourself, just a series of a brilliant cast. Tell us how you brought that together, because I'm in love with them all. I'm in love with you, all of you. Brilliant.
Yeah, well, these are my friends. And at the end of the day, they were there for me. Raul Castillo, who plays Tony, as an example, I met him years ago when we did a Sundance movie called Don't Let Me Drown, which was kind of like Romeo and Juliet meets 9/11. And it was a really good movie by Cruz Angeles. And I met him on that movie. And then we worked together at the Labyrinth Theater Company, which was formerly led by Philip Seymour Hoffman and John Ortiz.
Yeah.
And, you know, so we kind of like got to know, he saw me do a play there, Our Lady of 121st Street and Judas Iscariot and all these things. And we just kind of like followed each other up the chain. And I asked him to come in and do this role. And I knew he'd be great. Like, I just knew he'd be great in it. And he is, because he's one of those actors that even when he's playing the bad guy, he's very vulnerable. Like, there's a profound humanity to him that's inescapable. So you can feel his torment inside. You know, you can feel how all he wants is to connect with Jana in this movie. Like, he's got to get her back. And his character suffers from PTSD. And you can understand as a human being what he's going through. And, you know, that's something you need. You don't want a one-note bad guy. You know, you want a guy that's filled with ambiguity and conflicted and just in this pain. So he pulled it off wonderfully. And then Dasha, I mean, come on. I mean, I loved her in Orange is the New Black. And then I felt like she could bring a subtle power to this role that was necessary. We know that she can just blow the roof off a ceiling.
Yeah.
But I also felt that she could also bring an authenticity to the role, just a real groundedness of a person that's conflicted also, searching for connection within herself, trying to get over the body dysmorphia she's suffering from, trying to stand on her own 2 feet and not let Tony dictate the agenda of her life. And I feel Gilbert comes in, played by me, who is able to say, hey, I'm here for you. I may be broken as a person, but I'm here for you. And I'm willing to take this journey with you to a better place. So 3 disconnected people trying to find connection in different ways. And I was really blessed, man. And like I know Jean Marno, who everybody knows from House of Cards and The Blacklist. She came in as Detective Rivera, and she was just
so good. She's great.
Yeah, she's just like money in the bank. And it's just like, just do it. And then Monique Gabriella Kernan, who we know from a ton of shows. She's fantastic as the doctor. And, you know, these are friends that I've worked with before, and which is there for me. And I have to give props to Bernard Kelsey Casting, who helped me arrange all this and who got me Emilio Delgado, who we all know from Sesame Street, and Socorro Santiago, who plays the mom. Came in on 2 days' notice.
What?
And just blew the riff. Because we had an offer out to Rita Moreno, but she had to do 1 day at a time for Netflix. And so, Socorro just came in 2 days' notice. I said, hey, the good news is you're playing my mom in the movie. The bad news is we start in 2 days.
Oh my!
She's like, okay, that's great. Let's do it. And she did it.
I mean, I watched the movie a few times because I love performances that much. I love the story that much. And then let's just talk about you. Listen, you have been, I feel like you've been in every movie in Hollywood. Like, I really do. You know, you've had such an illustrated career, and you always just you're so wonderful to watch on screen. You just so commit to whatever is in front of you, and it really shows. And you can just really tell from an acting perspective just how everyone loves working with you, because you just give them so much. And so I was just so happy to see you directing, leading a film, and giving us this amazing arc of a character that I just, you know, I fell in love with Gilbert. I just thought he was just, you know, just had so much about him that I wanted to know. I mean, the only disappointing part of the film was that it ended. I was like, no, don't leave me with these lies and get me invested and then it disappears. But like, how is it for you, like directing and you know, and writing this project and then being a star? How is that dynamic for you this time?
I just had a story I had to get off my chest. It really is as simple as that. I mean, I had been the sidekick to the stars, as people in casting call me, for years, and it's great. It pays the bills. I'm very excited, and I live a blessed life. But there came a point where I just had something to say, you know, like,
yeah,
I just felt like nobody was saying anything about the underbelly of society, about people who you don't want to look at, you know, people who are just underserved by the world. And I felt compelled to tell a story about them.
yeah.
And this is part of a trilogy of 3 movies I hope to do about different people in society that nobody wants to think about. The next one is going to be hysterically funny. So it's going to be a much lighter fare. But this one, it was a story I had to tell. You know, my daughter came into our life, and I just, it's a cautionary tale. I had to get it out of my system.
Yeah.
And here we are.
I love that. And listen, Adrian, I just want to see you just delve into this more and more, because honestly, you're a joy to watch, man. Like it was really a joyous thing. And just to see your whole team there with you and your cast, like it just felt like you all having just a fantastic time. And having lived in New York myself, you know, and like you said about the underbelly and of, you know, people we don't see, like these are our neighbors. These are, you know, these characters, these are people in New York right now and going through different things and circumstances. And I was just honored that like you shone a light on just this microscope of this family and this situation that was going on. It was just such a joyous thing, because you know how underrepresented, you know, it's been on film to see these kind of characters and from these perspectives. And so I'm just glad that there's more in that respect for you to come. Was that kind of something as well that you're important? Like, you know, we're not seeing enough of this. We're not seeing just a real truth and a real microscope of these stories and these characters from these perspectives, right?
Right. I mean, it's like what they say, you know, the chain is as strong as its weakest link. And how a society treats the people we don't think about reflects on the society at large. But at the same time, this movie is about you. This movie is about me.
Yeah.
This movie is about everyone who's ever felt like a misfit, everyone who's ever felt isolated, everyone who's ever felt like no one is fucking hearing me.
Yeah.
You've ever had that feeling that's who Gilbert is.
Yeah.
And I get emotional when I think about it, because it's true. I mean, really, Gilbert is me in many ways. You know, like I have suffered that sense of isolation. I have suffered that sense of no one can see me. No one knows who I am or what I've been through, and I'm having trouble connecting with the world. And so that's really what it's all about. Is a movie about a guy who represents all of us who've ever been in that situation.
You nailed it. I mean, I cried just several times, and I cried in the happy moments, just because what you're speaking about right now, connectivity, and how, you know, certain people feel about themselves or what they've been through, and we don't know people's stories. You know what I mean? Like I've seen Gilberts all over New York, and I sometimes look at people and I think, wow, what's going on in your world today? You know, and I love that you just kind of, through every character, through your mom, through you know, through all even just going through PSD, and you know, even the character's supposed to be the bad character, you feel that he's going through a lot, and he's just trying to connect, and everyone is trying to connect, you know, and in different ways. And so it was just, again, it was just joyous you took it from, that was the kind of emphasis of the perspective. Looking back on the project, Adrian, what was kind of the hardest part of making the film for you? I mean, you know, it's not easy making a feature, as you know.
Yeah, I would say the hardest part was moving the money from savings to checking.
Yeah.
I told my kid, listen, the good news is daddy's making a movie.
Yeah.
The bad news is you're not going to college.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what? We'll work it out. We'll work it out. But really, you know, you make all these sacrifices. And like I told you last night, I definitely want next time a producer to handle all the money, because it was very weird doing money decisions and signing checks like seconds, literally, before I had to shoot a scene with Dasha or Raul or Emilio or anyone. So I'm able to compartmentalize, acting to directing. That feels seamless to me, to be able to just go into character, then check the gate and look at the scene and make adjustments with the lenses and all this. That's easy. But to go from actor to, we just lost this location and we're going to have to spend another $700 on this. Or Grand Central Station wants $8,000 for the day. What? I thought it was 800. So this kind of stuff kind of really plays with my head. But we got through it, and I'm just glad.
Well, Dasha offered to take care of the money, she said, because she's thinking about becoming a producer. So you've got.
Yes, and we have it on tape. That's the key, Danny. We have it on tape.
Yeah.
And maybe producing, I like to deal with money. So maybe I would like. So maybe I could produce what you're directing.
That's it.
Dasha, we're going to send all the money to you. Don't worry for any producing for that little journey of it. Okay. So no, that's good. So that's good. No, listen. Again, it's great when good things come together. It looked like you had a lot of fun on there too. Like I love the locations. I love the music that flowed throughout. It was like I said to you yesterday. I said I could smell New York. I could smell that food. It was so luscious. Was that kind of something that was important to you? Because I felt the music particularly had a great flow, and just the colors and the environment was just spot on.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I got inspired by a director called Peter Weir, who did these wonderful movies. One of them is like Witness with Harrison Ford. And he always has great love for the setting, showing the setting and really being elaborate with the setting and really setting the tone of the movie by using the setting and by using location. And I certainly kept that in the back of my mind when Inwood in Upper Manhattan is mostly known for where they find the bodies on Law and Order. It's just but it's actually a gorgeous park, and it was voted by Time Out New York as one of the most beautiful streets on Inwood Hill Park. That one street.
It's lovely.
You have the inlet there, and you have you go into the park, and so it's just gorgeous up there. And I thought, well, why not just film right here? Yeah. And there we were, me and Dasha walking through the park. I mean, and of course, New York's New York. It's really a character unto itself.
It must have been amazing just to, watch, I mean, since you started this film, to watch, Dasha, who, said it was her first, leading role that she had. And both Dasha and Ro have really,
one of many.
They've all grown. They've all just grown as you have too. It's lovely to see that, where the journey started, it's you've all kind of just moving on and up, and how exciting that must be for all of you.
Yeah, it is, especially as as Latino actors, it's not easy, and the fact that they've been able to persevere and fight through everything and get to a point where their work is rewarded, and they're moving up the list, and they're with Gersh, and they're with CAA, and they've got all these big movies coming out. I can't wait to see In the Heights with Dasha.
Oh, can't wait.
I mean, everyone's raving about it. It's not even out yet.
I know. That trailer's
I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, it's great. No, it's really good. I don't want to miss actually touching on, because I had a lot of people come to me about your film about this, like the way it was shot was just so intricate. It was like, I love the way you panned all the way through and just gave us this like atmosphere. You kind of led us around the room, and I love that. It was so refreshing. How was that process? Because that was really exciting to watch.
Yeah, thank you. It was really important to me to have like a sort of dreamlike sense to the film.
Yeah.
So with the camera movement, we used the red camera, the Dragon. And there are a lot of scenes. It's funny that there are all these funny accidents that happen, like the scene that took place between Gilbert and Detective Rivera, the interrogation.
Oh, it's a great scene. Yeah,
we had scouted that location online, and it looked like a palace. This place was just like I'm like, are we filming in Versailles? This is amazing. And so we definitely booked it and we paid for it and we got there and it was totally abandoned.
Oh, wow.
And like everything had just been ripped out and it was just a gutted building. And I'm like, can I get a refund here? but then it still had these great columns and these great marble walls and everything. So Teresa Tooney, our production designer, she dressed it a bit and we just made it work, you know?
Yeah.
But you get these happy miracles on sets. But to your question, I feel like it was really important to have a nice dreamlike quality, the use of smoke in the shots, and a lot of long lenses. Like when Jean Reno walks down this hallway during Gilbert's Nightmare.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, I just found it helped tell the story because it's just sort of added more to the theme of connection and disconnection to have this dreamlike sense to it.
Yeah. No, it again, it really worked. It was just, you know, it was such a, I mean, again, I'm if this is your first Adrian directing a film, like we need flipping more. That's all I'm saying. Just please put that out there, okay? It's got to happen.
I'm on it right now.
Yeah, get on it. Right.
Make second movie.
Yeah, there we go. Or I'll be on your case. But listen, I think one of the greatest is that, you know, we got a series of role models that are also fantastically talented human beings. And you yesterday gave such a wonderful TED talk to everybody. And you know, I'm just curious, like for anybody out there, because one of the things that I think was so admirable about you is that for all the things you've achieved in your career, you're just still absorbing things as like a sponge, like a 5-year-old child, you know, like you never stop. And I love that about you. And that really showed. So I'm just curious, like for anyone listening to this interview, this wonderful interview, is there any advice you want to share with anybody out there?
You matter. At the end of the day, your voice matters. What you have to say matters. Your perspective of the world matters, and you have to show up for it. If you have any talent at all, you have to honor it, because if you don't, your talent will haunt you. Your talent will haunt you. It haunted me. Every time I tried to do something else, my talent haunted me and said, no, you have to get back to the writing. You have to get back to the act. You have to get back to generating your own work. Show up for your talent, because if not, it's going to haunt you. And you understand that your voice and your perspective of the world matters. And we need to hear it now more than ever. In a world as disconnected as it is, we have to have diverse voices. We have to really hear it, because it's the only thing that's going to cut through what we see in the news. You know, these broad strokes of one tribalistic camp versus the other. The only thing that's going to cut through that are the individual stories of diverse people speaking their truth, or not diverse people speaking their truth. You know, it doesn't matter. We just have to hear your voice because it matters. Yeah,
absolutely. And you can go better advice than that. My goodness, that's such an important thing, and something that we, you know, at NewFilmmakers, you know, really shine value to with the films and the people and the stories and the audience that we represent. So really lovely to hear that. What is next for you, Adrian? I know we got to get at least 6 billion people watching iGilbert, but apart from that, what is next on the horizon?
Well, it all goes back to Netflix for me again. You know, it's interesting. I have a movie coming out called The Guilty, where I'm kind of like Jake Gyllenhaal's sidekick in that. And it's based on a Danish film of the same name. And it was shot during the pandemic with one set. Everything happened on one set. You know, it's about 9/11 operators and how Jake gets a call that really affects him and changes the course of his life. And I'm trying to keep him from literally going too far, trying to help this person. But it's really good. Antoine Fuqua directed it, and that's going to come out soon. And of course, I really believe that as an actor, it's not enough just to act. You have to self-generate your own work. There's a reason why all these A-listers have their own production companies. And so to that end, I did iGilbert, and now I'm working on a project called Senior Kevin with my co-writer, Julia White. And it's a hysterical look at a race and identity, about a Latino who hates being Latino, but wants to become the first Latino president. So
wow, oh yes, let's do it. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's called Senior Kevin, and I'm pitching it now to various studios, and so wish me luck.
Oh, of course, man. We'll be right there with you. Well, I just want to say thank you for bringing iGilbert to New Filmmakers LA. Thanks for being part of our family and being so accommodating and giving such wonderful advice. And we're just so happy to have you. So thank you very much.
Well, I really appreciate it, and I have to say this. I said it last night. It needs to be said again and again. What a fantastic job you guys have done, particularly to do this during a pandemic, to make it as seamless as you've done for the filmmakers, to really celebrate the work, to put it out there on social media. All the hard work you've done. The panels have been fantastic. I can't speak more highly about NFMLA, and I can't thank you guys enough.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it.